So we can see functions, returning functions within the next in the next program. I'll just comment this out and go for the code above. Let's say I'm defining a function, let's say f of x, right? And I'm defining another function, let's say g of y. It returns y plus x plus 3. And then, so this g returns y plus x plus 3, and the f returns the function g itself. Are you able to understand? So a function is getting a parameter x, and now the function is returning another function. But that function is taking a parameter y and it's returning y plus x. So basically you're returning an object of type class function. Okay, so now when I call my function f and I pass a parameter, an argument 1, it's going to send f of 1. F of 1 is going to be called, which is going to return g, or it's going to be a reference. It's going to return a reference or an object g, which I can store it in another object. Let me call it as nf1. And then when I call f of, let me say 3, it's going to return for me again g, but this time with x as 3. Let me store it in nf2. Let me print nf1. Now what is nf1? nf1 is nothing but g. nf1 is nothing but g. nf2 is also nothing but g. But nf1 g, that means I'm calling g. When I call nf1, I'm calling g. But g needs to be called with a parameter y. So I'm going to call it with a parameter. Let me call it with a parameter, let's say 1. And then I call nf2 also with a parameter 1. So we have different parameters which we are calling it with. Save it. Function f5. You have 5 and 7. Let's see what happened. nf1 of 1, which means, sorry, so when you printed nf1 of 1, what is nf1? F of 1. What is f of 1? So 1 is being passed here. So it's returning an object g with x as 1. Now when you called nf1 of 1, you called g of 1. The y was 1 and the x also was 1 for nf1. So 1 plus 1 plus 3, that's 5. Are you able to understand? But when you created nf2 was again g, but x was 3. X was 3 then. nf2 I called again, but this time I was calling g, but I passed argument as 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. 4 plus 3 is 7, which was printed to me out here. Hope you understood that. So now, okay, this is returning a function back. Okay, this is getting even more deeper and deeper as we understand it. Maybe, I do not want to introduce decorators even now until you are really clear with the concept. Let's go to the last example, or an example before going to decorators. Let me make a polynomial creator. Okay, let me make a polynomial creator. What is a polynomial creator? Okay, let's say I'm going to define a function called as polynomial creator. Right? I'm going to define this particular function, which is going to take 3 parameters, a, b, c. Okay, so that means if ever I am going to call polynomial creator, I will pass a, b, c. So let me say I call 2, 3, minus 1. So I'm going to pass this, or I can even call polynomial creator with parameters minus 1, 2, 1. I call the polynomial creator. Now both of this is going to return me something. It's going to return me an object which I'm going to store it in P1, and this I'm going to store it in P2. What is this P1 and P2? Let's see what this function can be defined as. Let me define another function. Let me say this time this function is going to be polynomial, and that takes in just one parameter x, and then this returns ax squared, ax squared. If you remember, ax squared plus b into x plus c. Now this function is going to return a squared plus bx plus c. But what is this function going to return, polynomial creator? It is just going to return the function polynomial. It is going to return the function polynomial. Okay, so this is also going to be a polynomial function. This is also going to be a polynomial function. Only difference is we need to call this polynomial function. Whenever we call this polynomial function, we need to pass an x value. Okay, so let's say we need to pass x, right? So let me call this print. If I call P1, I can call P1 with just a simple value of x, that is, let me say 2. So this is going to be, so how this is going to work? Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, when I call P1 of 2, what is P1? Is nothing but polynomial. But polynomial was returned by whom? Polynomial creator. Polynomial creator for P1 had been passed ABC as 2, 3 and minus 1. So what was P1 actually? P1 was actually this, 2x square plus 3x plus, or rather, minus 1. This was the polynomial P1 because you had passed ABC. In the polynomial creator, you passed 2, 3, minus 1 and it returned a polynomial. It returned this polynomial object. That is another function. So now P1, and that is stored in P1. So but that P1 had this particular value. Now when I call P1 of 2, I am passing this 2 in this x over here because P1 is nothing but polynomial, right? So I am passing this x, which means I am passing in this x, I am going to pass 2. Wherever x is there, I am going to pass 2. Hope you understood that, right? Correct. This is what we are going to do. So 2 multiplied by 2 is gone, or rather 2 raised to 2 is 4. 4 multiplied by 2 is 4 2s are 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 minus 1 is 13. Let me see if P1 of 2 is 13. Yes, that's right. So, you know, I can call P1 and I can even call P2. P2 is another polynomial which has minus x squared plus 2x plus 1. So I have another polynomial P2. Now what I need to do is, let me say for, okay, I can pass different values of x. For x in range, let me say minus 2 to 2 in steps of, okay, minus 2 to 2 in steps of 1, which means it is incrementing by 1. What I'm going to print is P1 of, let me print the value of x, then I will print P1 of each of those values of x, and I will pass P2 of each of those values of x. Hope you understood that, right? Function F5, okay, can you see? That's the output. Is that clear?